Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it, and we're going to start with the last city council meeting, this past Tuesday, June 28th. So many of you saw in the past week, the past few videos, I was specifically talking about our Ward 2 city councilor, Charles Kronick, and it was over an article he showed from a local online blogger about just some horrible, filthy, foul, disgusting stuff. It was a horrible thing. It spawned a whole conversation. I had reached out to our Ward 2 councilor, Charles Kronick, for an interview. He came on. We did that. Many of you saw the interview discussing it, and we put it to bed. It's done and over with. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to give Councilor Kronick the benefit of the doubt on this one, that will never happen again, and we can move forward. Because that's what you do. When you have a problem like that and you have a problem with someone, you confront it, right? You confront that problem, you discuss it, you educate the person on your point of view, you sit there and listen to them and let them educate you on their point of view, and you find middle ground to move forward and do what is best for the whole. And what is best for the whole is to move forward and hope that that never, ever, ever happens again. And I trust that Charles Kronick will never do that again. Now, that being said, Mayor Tyer decided she's going to take this to a whole different level. So Mayor Tyer and our City Council President Peter Marchetti are pushing for a recall now of our Ward 2 City Councilor. And that is wrong. That is more than wrong. That's what Mayor Tyer is going to focus her energy on, is getting rid of opposition. So she's taken it to a whole new level, saying that the guy is transphobic, homophobic, racist, all sorts of stuff. I mean, let's not take that far. When you're a leader like that, and you're the department head of the entire city, you have to have political skills. And political skills are knowing how to talk to people, bring it to the table, and negotiate and find common ground. You do what is best for the whole. And pushing some ridiculous recall, you're telling the voters they can't think for themselves. If the residents of Ward 2 do not want Charles Kronick as their city councilor, they will make that decision themselves the next election. It's only every 2 years. That's coming up in a blink of an eye. So for the mayor to focus her attention on this, that is so irresponsible. Here we go again. Let's continue the soap opera we call Pittsfield politics. But with all that being said, and if I was Peter Marchetti, I'd stay a million miles away from some recall. Here, this is what they did to Chris Connell. They're gonna do it a little bit different, but they're gonna do it to Charles Kronick, or try to. That would be a huge mistake, because you're stepping on the voters. But so last night, or Tuesday night's city council meeting, overall, I thought was great. I thought the professional etiquette was there. I thought everyone's attitude was much better. Even Councilor Persip, his attitude was a complete turnaround from the previous meeting. He even smiled a few times, which was nice to see. It was a good meeting, and it covered a lot of important topics, and a lot of things were discussed. Now, the budget passed, 4 against, 7 in favor, but the explanations were put out. They were valid explanations. Many points made that really stuck out to me. Councilor Mafuccio made some incredible points when he talked about the budget, and he talked about how inflated the school budget was, which it is ridiculously inflated. It is unbelievably inflated for as low pay as our teachers receive, for our paraprofessionals, cafeteria workers, custodial staff, bus drivers, bus monitors, and all of them. They can't even get a contract. Many of them are still being paid below state minimum wage. And believe it or not, that happens. School departments only have to adhere to federal law. Federal minimum wage is $7.55. So that's how they get away with paying them below Massachusetts minimum wage. It's disgusting. But why did that department, how does that school budget keep going? Well, like Councilor Mafuccio said, when he went to school, you had a principal and a vice principal. Now that's not one of those, back when I was a young lad, because the difference is when Councilor Mafuccio went to school in Pittsfield, you know what the main difference was? There was 15,000 more people then than there are now. That's the main difference. And the point he made was there was a principal and a vice principal and then the rest of the staff and your teachers, right? Now you've got a principal, a principal, an assistant to the assistant's principal, a dean of students, a vice principal, 2 assistants to the vice principal, this assistant, that assistant. You have so many administrators, it's unbelievable. Meanwhile, everybody else is being underpaid. We don't invest enough into our teachers and we ask too much of them. We don't treat any of the other staff with any dignity. We can't even pay cafeteria workers minimum wage. We don't take care of our custodial workers, bus drivers, any of them. Can't even get a contract. But we can keep creating more and more administrative positions. Earl Persip made a very good point when he brought up the Department of Equity and Inclusion. Because he said there's all these city employees that feel marginalized, overlooked, they can't even get a pay raise, they deserve pay raises, and he made it seem like the city of Pittsfield are the worst people in the world to work for. They're so bad that we have to bring people in to train Mayor Tyer and her administration on how to treat people right. That's horrible. Mayor Tyer's administration has been there for 7 years, and now we have to bring in diversity and equity and inclusion coaches to teach them how to treat people with dignity and treat people equally? That's disgusting. I don't get it. If that's how bad it is, why Earl Persip is such a huge supporter of Mayor Tyer? That's so bizarre. But then overall, the budget passed. The 4 councilors that were against it, like I said, were Councilor Mafuccio, Councilor Warren, Councilor Kronick, and Councilor Kalinowsky. And there, it was funny, the big difference between what Councilor Persip and Councilor White said, and I'm not just picking on those two, the reason I bring them up so much is because they actually speak up and say stuff. I haven't heard a word from our Ward 4 Councilor, Jim Conant. Dina Lampiazzi, our Ward 6 Councilor, rarely speaks. I mean, and that's the truth. It's hard to quote her on anything. She maybe speaks 30 words, if that, an entire meeting. Councilor Conant, I didn't hear him say anything other than aye or yes. Councilor Cavey, I haven't heard a lot from him lately at all. There's the certain ones that speak. But it seemed like the premise behind Councilor White and Councilor Persip was we need to grow government. We need to make sure our city employees are paid and they get raises, and their interest is in protecting city employees. And then if you listen to Councilor Mafuccio and Councilor Kalinowsky and Councilor Kronick and Councilor Warren, their interest is in protecting the taxpayers. They're more worried about the senior citizens, people being priced out of their homes, people not being able to afford groceries or to rent or anything like that. So you have 2 sides to that. But here's the thing that people like Councilor White probably know. I'm sure they do. Who decides our elections here? City employees and their family. They vote for their jobs. They have to. I mean, wouldn't you? And nobody else is voting. So that's how it always works here. You negotiate, and that's what happens. People have to vote for their own jobs. So that's why they keep getting reelected. Because nobody's voting. 21% showed out for the last election. 21% of our registered voters. I don't know what the percentage would be for eligible voters. But so it all passed. It was a good meeting. All in all, watch it if you can. It's on PCTV. It was very interesting. But it was not a bad meeting. There was nothing embarrassing. There was no screaming, yelling, fighting, or any of the ridiculous stuff. Let's hope Mayor Tyer gets over herself and drops this dumb recall idea. Same with City Council President Peter Marchetti. Don't worry about trying to take out another councilor. The voters know what they're doing. You know, they're not children. They can make decisions. Recall. That's going to help everybody. Keep the soap opera going. So that's that. Also, I've reached out to Sheriff Bowler and Alf Barbalunga, who is running for sheriff. They are both coming on. So that's good news. I'm going to see about hosting a debate. Alf Barbalunga is not interested in me hosting a debate, but Sheriff Bowler was open to the idea. But maybe Alf Barbalunga will change his mind, but he did say he would gladly come on for an interview. I'll take it. Love to have him. So that's good news. What else here? The public speaking part of that was pretty interesting. That's City Council President Peter Marchetti's least favorite part of any meeting. He wishes they weren't there. The reason for that is he says we can't respond to anybody. If we had a community center, I don't think that would be happening. The Mayor Tyer promised us a community center a long time ago, but that was just eh. So, all right. So your CBD store, that promo starts today. And it runs Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So everybody can go down to your CBD store. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's on the page right below this one. 15% off everything. As many times as you go there within those 3 days, that's an incredible deal. All you have to do is say it's Pittsfield tonight. So that's your CBD store at 180 Elm Street. In a couple hours, I am packing up and I will be making bread. I'll be filming today at Pittsfield Rye Bakery. I'm really excited about that. I've been up for a couple days straight working, but I can go one more. I'm usually good for 3 days at a time. So I'm really excited about that. Another thing I want to mention real quick before I wrap it up. The last video, many of you put on there, and I get it all the time, and it's very flattering. Mike for mayor, or Mike, I would vote for you for mayor. And you know, it's not just flattering, it's overwhelming. I can't tell you how good that makes me feel. Now, am I going to run for public office? There's a very, very good chance I am not, okay? I want what's best for the city. I'm keeping my eyes out right now. To the people who, when people put Mike for mayor and supporters of other candidates go on there and they hit that little laugh emoji and make fun of my supporters, not cool. You want to say something to me or write a comment to me, I take it all day long. Chances are I've heard a lot worse from way better people. Make fun of my supporters, I'll chew you up and spit you out. I'm not having that on here. You do not do that. You do not come to my platform and make fun of my supporters, because here's what else is going to happen with that. I will not support your candidate. I'm going to support somebody if I don't run, and I won't support any candidate that their base is going to make fun of my 7,526 followers. Because when we come out of the phone booth, we're going to be voting. So keep making fun of them, and all you're doing is you make fun of my followers, and you're just taking away support, that any support that possibly would have been there for your candidate. I hope you know that. And when they lose, you can pat yourself on the back for that. So that is it for now. Everybody, take care of yourselves. Be good. Pay attention. There's a lot coming up, and there's a lot of good stuff coming up too. But pay attention. Keep your eyes open. And that's it for now. I'm getting ready to head off to Pittsfield Rye Bakery, so I will catch y'all in the next day or two.